Dear students, welcome to my English virtual class. Hope all of you well by the mercy of Almighty Allah. I am also well by the mercy of Him. Today I will give you an interesting lesson of tech question. Although you know me well, I would like to introduce myself. I am Muhammad Abu Said, assistant teacher English, Sitakund Girls High School. Okay, not to get late, I am going to discuss the main topic. Dear learners, you are looking my identification. Our today's topic is tag question. Today I will discuss its final part. In my previous classes, I have taken 5 classes. So if you don't see my classes, you should see or watch my classes. Dear learners, you are looking subject and pronoun in tag. Actually, if you see in a sentence as a subject eat, and you have to write eat in tag question. That means eat for eat, there for there, and one for one. I would like to make it clear through some examples. You are looking some examples 1, 2 and 3. Example 1, it is a beautiful flower. Okay, for this you are looking it is a beautiful flower is the statement and it is affirmative statement. For this affirmative statement, the answer will be negative. So what the negative statement negative tag question is? Actually, isn't it is the right answer. So is for isn't, in my first classes or in my previous classes you have seen and understood that is for isn't you have to write, and eat for eat, and is for isn't, there for there. Isn't there is the right answer, and should for shouldn't. So shouldn't one is the right answer. So what's the next slide? Subject and pronoun in tag. If you see subject this and that, if you subject this and that, you have to write it in the tag question. And if you see subject this or those, actually this and those both are plural. So for this plural subject, you have to write they in pronoun in tag. That means in tag question you have to write they as a pronoun. So through some examples you will understand clearly. Example 1, this is my reading table. So this statement is affirmative, so answer will be negative. So isn't for is, and this for it. So isn't it is the right answer. That is a shirt. So isn't it is the right answer. Isn't for it is, and it for that. So isn't it is the right answer. These books are mine. So this you are looking these books. These books is plural subject and are is plural verb. So arm for are, and these books. So you have to write they, therefore these books, because the subject is plural. If you see subject is plural, you have to write they. Those books are yours. So you have to write aren't for are, and you have to write they for those books. So aren't is the right answer. Come to was the next slide. Tag question of complex sentence. You are looking the structure of complex sentence. Structure 1, principal clause plus subordinate clause, or subordinate clause plus principal clause. What the principal clause and subordinate clause? You have to first of all understand both the clauses. Okay, principal clause. Where in a principal clause you will see a subject and finite verb, and principal clause is always independent clause actually, and that is called main clause. On the other hand, subordinate clause. Subordinate clause is a clause which is always depending on principal clause. Dear students, you are looking at rules. A subordinate clause starts with a number of subordinators. So a number of subordinators, you have to watch and memorize the subordinators. Dear students, you are looking at since, because, though, although, if, when, where, which, who, whom, what, how, that, so that, etc. And these words are called subordinators. Actually, a subordinate clause starts with this or these subordinators. So you have seen some subordinators. Now you have to try to identify the subordinate clause, because tag question depends on principal clause. Look some examples. Example 1. Those who are involved to do harm to others should avoid it. And example 2. Though he is a good student, he is lazy. And example 3. Why some people forget, it is really a question. And example 4. Most of the students who fail in English do not have a strong foundation on grammar. Dear students, in the above examples, you are looking a number of underlined clauses, which are called subordinate clause. Remember, in the above examples, you are looking a number of underlined clauses, which are called subordinate clause. So you are looking an underlined clause who are involved. In the first example, you are looking who are involved to do harm to others. So this underlined clause is called subordinate clause. So what the principal clause? Those should avoid it. Those should avoid it is the principal clause, and tag question depends on principal clause. So tag question will be shouldn't for should, and those, they for those. Shouldn't they is the right answer. Example 2. Though he is a good student, he is lazy. So this clause starts with though, and this is underlined clause, and this clause is called subordinate clause, and his lazy is the principal clause. So tag question will be isn't he. Isn't for is and he for he, because he is a pronoun. Why some people forget, this underlined clause has been started with why, and this underlined clause is called subordinate clause, and it is really a question, is a principal clause. For this principal clause, tag question will be isn't it, because isn't for is and it for it. And you are looking example 4. Most of the students who fail in English, who fail in English is underlined here, and this underlined clause is called subordinate clause. Besides, this clause starts with who. Who is a subordinator. So for this subordinator who fail in English is called subordinate clause. So you have to write a tag question on depending principal clause. Most of the students do not have a strong foundation on grammar is the principal clause, and this clause is negative clause. So tag question will be affirmative. So do for do not, and they for subject. Most of the students is a plural clause. For the plural clause, most of the students is a plural phrase. For the plural phrase, you have to write they as a pronoun in the tag question. Okay. In the next slide, in a complex sentence, tag question depends on principal clause or independent clause. In the previous slide, I told you again and again. Now I am discussing about it through one more examples. Dear students, you are looking, I know that he is honest, and if you come, I shall go. In the first example, you are looking that he is honest. Actually, that he is honest, that is a subordinator. So that he is honest is a subordinate clause. That means I know is a principal clause. Okay. And if you come is subordinate clause, because if you come, the clause has been started with if. So if is a subordinator, so if you come is subordinate clause, and I shall go is a principal clause actually. So in a tag question you have to depend on principal clause to make a tag question. I know is a principal clause, so for I know in the tag question you have to write don't I, because no is a present form. For present form you have to write don't, and for the subject I is a pronoun, so I for I, don't I is the right answer. And I shall go is a affirmative statement, and I shall go is a principal clause. For this principal clause you have to write shan't plus subject I is a pronoun, so shan't I is the right answer. I think you have clearly understood. Tag question of interrogative sentence. This discussion is very interesting actually. Dear students, you are looking A and B. So A, affirmative statement, affirmative tag. That means if you see a statement affirmative and the tag question will be affirmative. But in my previous classes I have discussed, if you see affirmative statement, answer will be negative. But now here in the interrogative sentences, if you see affirmative statement, answer will be affirmative, and if you see negative statement, answer will be negative. Through some examples you will clearly understand. Examples A, who believes a liar? First of all, you have to turn the sentence into assertive to understand better. Assertive, nobody believes a liar. So this is assertive sentence, and first of all you have to make the sentence tag question. Nobody believes a liar. Do they? Do they is the tag answer of nobody believes a liar. So nobody believes a liar has come from who believes a liar. So who believes a liar is the interrogative sentence, nobody believes a liar is a assertive sentence. For this assertive sentence you have written do they. So you have to write do they for who believes a liar for the interrogative sentence. That means who believes a liar is a affirmative statement, and do they is a affirmative tag. That means affirmative tag for affirmative statement. I think you have understood. An example B, who does not hate a liar. So this is negative statement. For this negative statement you have to write negative tag. First of all, like the question number or example A, you have to write assertive in your mind, or you can make the sentence into a question. You can write the sentence or assertive sentence in another book or answer script as a rough. Okay, assertive, everybody hates a liar. Who does not? So the main example is who does not hate a liar. This is negative, and everybody hates a liar. This is assertive. So for the assertive statement you have to write negative answer or tag. Don't they? Okay. In my previous class I have discussed about these rules. For everybody you have to write they, although you are looking as from. Okay. Who does not hate a liar is negative statement. For this negative statement you have to write negative answer or negative tag. Don't they is the right answer. Okay, thank you very much for watching the class. I think this class will be very helpful for your coming exam, and I would like to advise you must watch my classes, my previous classes again and again for your betterment. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.